So Lando Norris got second place during the Belgian Grand Prix, and he also got third place directly behind his teammate in the Spa sprint as well. But despite that, people are not happy with Lando Norris. He's coming under pressure, people call him a bottle job, making key mistakes. But what's the truth of all this, guys, and what has people been saying? Are they being too harsh on Norris? For the first time in his career, of course, he did win back-to-back races at Silverstone and Austria as well. So he's not really in terrible form, it is fair to say. But that championship gap is now up to 16 points. It was 8 before this Grand Prix weekend. So a long way to go, but you'd rather have that gap be smaller or non-existent if you were Norris. So overall, Belgium was very much a good weekend for Piastri. But let's have a look what people have been saying here, guys. Full article on the F1chronicle.com as always. Oscar Piastri is now 16 points clear at the top of the World Championship after passing pole-sitting McLaren teammate Lando Norris and winning a rain-delayed Belgian Grand Prix. While Max Verstappen and Red Bull slip further out of the title fight, they're out of it. I said this quite some time, I called it. It's going to be a McLaren Constructors, and it's also going to be one of the McLaren guys getting the driver's title. They're not in it. They're not in the title fight anymore. But anyway, all eyes are now on what is shaping up to be a head-to-head McLaren showdown for the 2025 crown. It is too early to talk about the situation in the championship, said Zak Brown, the CEO of McLaren. Max Verstappen should never be written off. I'm writing him off. So I don't see it. I don't see it. I cannot see how they're going to come back into this. But it's obviously great that we have such a good lead over the competition. This allows us to have our two drivers race each other. It's exciting for everyone. The more racing, the better. McLaren continues to resist outside pressure to implement clear team orders, letting the title contenders race freely. And at Spa, it was Piastri who struck first. Pole sitter Norris has often been the quicker of the two over a single lap, but Piastri's calm and consistency, especially in tricky conditions, made the difference again. I mean, Oscar just did a great job. Nothing more to say, Norris said. Committed a bit more through Eau Rouge and had a slipstream and got the run. Nothing to complain of. He did a better job in the beginning, and that's what it was. Ralf Schumacher, speaking on Sky Deutschland, was less forgiving though. Lando still had the chance at the end because he was on the hard tyres. Piastri's were going off, but he made 3 mistakes, losing a second to each one of them. That is why that's exactly the 3 seconds he needed. A Hamilton or Verstappen wouldn't have made those mistakes, Schumacher added. Oscar was simply better. Norris accepted the result. Oscar deserved it today. Another 1-2. A well-deserved result for the team and for Oscar too. But, Herr Schumacher, as the famous phrase goes, catching is one thing, passing is another. Would Lando have got past Piastri even without those mistakes? Who knows? Maybe. But it was very difficult to overtake around Spa. Hamilton got stuck behind Albon for like the entire second half of the race. It was bizarre. We normally see overtaking around Spa being one of the easiest on the calendar, maybe because it was damp conditions. Even when they were on the slicks, there was still bits of water around the track. It would look like a cold, wet, miserable day in Belgium. It really, really did. A typical Spa day, even in summer. So I would say personally that I don't know if he even would have been able to catch and pass him even with those mistakes not being a thing. At the end of the day, it's not a disaster. You know, he's not like finishing 4th. 3rd, you know, they're still finishing 1-2. And when it comes to team orders, for me, there should absolutely not be any team orders from the McLaren. You know, we don't want it to happen, obviously, but it's possible that at some point they might hit each other again. We've already seen it. We saw Norris hit the back of Piastri at Canada. It's possible, right? And they could lose points with that. And it's bad. And you don't want that. But they're going to win the Constructors anyway. And let's be real here, guys, right? That's all McLaren really cares about. Really, that is all they care about. That's where the money's paid. That's where the success is for the team. Obviously, they want one of their drivers to win the Drivers' Championship. That's where the attention is. That's where the outside interest in Formula 1 is. Do you really care that Williams won the Constructors' Championship in 1986? No, you care that Alain Prost, driving a McLaren, won the Drivers' Championship. Do you really care that Ferrari won the Constructors' Championship in 2008? No, you care that Sir Lewis Hamilton won the Drivers' Championship. Tell that to Felipe Massa. I'm pretty sure he doesn't care that Ferrari won the Constructors in 08, but he definitely cares that he missed out on the title that year, so much so that the man is currently engaged in a lawsuit still. Absolute bananas decision, but hey, you know, all power to him, I guess. But Yeah, for me, absolutely no question. There should be no team orders with McLaren. Let them race. Let them race. They've barely been battling each other. We've only really seen them battle each other properly in the start of this race, the very start, but after that, Piastri was gone. And also during the Austrian Grand Prix as well. That's kind of been it. It's been very rare that they've actually been going at each other, you know. There's always been a bit of a gap there. There's not been quite enough to really, get close to each other. So, yeah, for me, no questions, no team orders. Yes, opportunity missed for Lando Norris, for sure. He started on pole position, but Piastri in the race did a superb job. Lando Norris did everything he could. He went with the different tyres. He went with the hard tyres. He tried something different. It didn't work out. Keeping temperature, something that Ralph is very much skirting around here. And I know this is the job of a Formula One driver, not to go too in depth with this, but for my unprofessional opinion when it comes to Formula One drivers, when it comes to this, it was a cold, wet day, like I said. You go a millimetre off the line, you're into the damp, you lose temperature in your tyres. Those hard tyres would have been much more difficult to keep the temperature in them. And I know, obviously, you have the temperature going after a few laps, but Spa has a lot of long straights. And even the corners, a lot of them are flat out. So keeping temperature in your rear tyres in particular, going through... So keeping temperature in particularly rear tyres down these long straights, going into the Kemmel, going down to Eau Rouge, going through the Blanchimont, these are corners and sections that your tyre temperatures are really going to be suffering on a cold day in this part of the world. By the way, if you've never been to Spa on one of these days, yes, it is the summer. Yes, it is July. It's cold though. When it rains there, it is freezing cold, even in the summer. Colder than the UK. Colder than Scotland, and that's saying something, trust me. So for me, opportunity missed, but it's not a clanger. It's not a big fumble from Norris. He'll have another chance at Hungary, and he can eliminate that advantage effectively that Oscar Piastri pulled out, at least some of it anyway. So yeah, your thoughts in the comments below, guys. Is this an absolute mess up? Is this a bottle job from Lando Norris once again, or is this being overblown? And should McLaren have team orders or not? Have your say down below. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to see more of this, guys. Have a fantastic day wherever in the world today, and I'll see you very soon.